Everybody tells you to build your credit. Get a credit card, build your score, finance a car, buy a house. But here's the question nobody seems to stop and ask. What is credit actually for? And more importantly, how do you use credit without allowing credit to control your life? Because the Most High advises us to be debt-free. Shalom! Welcome to my world. Today we're talking about something every family should understand: credit. Not how to fake a credit profile, not how to buy a CPN, not secret government accounts, not how to turn your social security number into money. We're talking about how the credit system actually works and how to use it responsibly. Credit is basically someone saying, I will give you access to money, goods, or services today because I believe you're going to pay me back according to our agreement. That's it. When a credit card company gives you a $5,000 limit, they didn't give you $5,000 of income. They gave you permission to borrow up to $5,000. And borrowing comes with rules. Suppose your credit card has a $1,000 limit. You buy $100 worth of groceries. Your available credit may now be approximately $900. But here's where people get into trouble. They look at that remaining $900 and think, I still have $900. No, you have approximately $900 left that you're allowed to borrow. There's a big difference. Eventually, the credit card company sends you a statement. That statement has several important numbers. Your statement balance, your minimum payment, your payment due date, and your interest rate, or APR. Paying only the minimum can keep the account current, but it can also cause a balance to stick around much longer and cost significantly more in interest. So whenever your finances allow it, paying your statement balance in full by the due date can help you avoid purchase interest on cards that provide a grace period. But always read your card agreement because terms can differ. Now we get to the number everybody talks about, your credit score. Your credit score isn't your wealth. Someone can have excellent credit and very little savings. Someone else can have substantial assets and rarely use consumer credit. A credit score is designed to help lenders evaluate credit risk based on information in your credit history. Payment history is extremely important. Balances matter. How long you've maintained credit accounts can matter. New credit activity can matter. And the types of credit appearing on your report can matter. Different scoring models calculate things differently, so don't become obsessed with trying to manipulate every single point. Here's another term you need to know: credit utilization. If you have a $1,000 credit card limit and your reported balance is $800, you're using 80% of that limit. If your reported balance is $100, that's 10%. Lower revolving utilization generally looks less risky than repeatedly carrying cards close to their limits. You may have heard that you must carry a balance to build credit. That's a myth. You do not need to deliberately pay interest just to establish good credit behavior. Here's a simple principle. Don't use a credit card to convince yourself that you can afford something you actually can't. Before charging $500, ask yourself, what's my repayment plan? Not someday, not when things get better. What's the plan right now? Now let's talk about where credit can become useful. Responsible credit history may help you qualify for things such as a mortgage, a vehicle loan, certain business financing, rental housing, and other financial products. But qualifying for more money doesn't automatically mean you should borrow more money. That's where financial wisdom comes in. Let's say you want to buy a property. The lender may examine your credit, income, debts, assets, down payment, and the property itself. Good credit can potentially help you qualify for better financing terms, but credit alone doesn't make a real estate investment good. You still need to understand purchase price, repairs, taxes, insurance, utilities, vacancy, maintenance, financing costs, and expected income. If the numbers don't work without wishful thinking, A high credit score won't fix the investment. Business credit deserves its own conversation. A legitimate business can establish financial accounts and potentially obtain financing in the business's name. But forming an LLC doesn't magically create free money. And business credit isn't a loophole that makes debts disappear. There may also be personal guarantees, underwriting requirements, revenue requirements, credit checks, or collateral depending on the lender and product. Business financing should finance a real business plan. Now this part is important. Social media is filled with claims about secret credit tricks. Someone tells you, your social security number is a secret bank account, or buy a CPN and start over, or the government has money attached to your birth certificate, or just dispute everything on your credit report. Be careful. There is no legitimate secret account that allows you to pay your personal bills simply by accessing money attached to your social security number or birth certificate. And knowingly using false identifying information or submitting false information to lenders can create serious legal problems. You can challenge information on a credit report that is actually inaccurate. But accurate negative information generally cannot simply be erased because you don't like it. One of the smartest things you can do is actually read your credit reports. Look at the accounts. Look at balances. Look for accounts you don't recognize. Check payment histories. Check personal information. If something is inaccurate, investigate it and use the legitimate dispute process. Don't wait until you're trying to buy a house to discover what's on your credit report. Before worrying about having a perfect credit score, build your financial foundation. Create a budget. Build emergency savings. Pay your bills on time. Reduce expensive debt. Understand your income. Understand your expenses. Then use credit intentionally. Because a 780 credit score with no savings and overwhelming debt isn't financial freedom. And parents, teach this to your children before someone offers them their first credit card. Teach them. Cash is money you already have. Credit is money you're borrowing. Interest is part of what borrowing can cost. A minimum payment isn't the same thing as paying off the debt. And a credit limit isn't permission to spend recklessly. Imagine how differently our children could enter adulthood if they understood those 5 things before turning 18. Credit isn't automatically good. Credit isn't automatically bad. Credit is a financial tool, and like any tool, the outcome depends heavily on how you use it. Use credit to support a sound financial plan, not to finance an image. Don't borrow because everybody else has it. Don't go into debt trying to look wealthy. Build savings. Build knowledge. Build businesses carefully. Build assets when the numbers make sense. Build something that lasts. So the next time somebody tells you, you need credit, your question should be, what am I using the credit for? That's the difference between simply having access to debt and developing financial literacy. Learn the system. Read the contracts. Understand the numbers. Protect your identity. Build your financial foundation and make your money decisions intentionally. I'm Ivriy American, and we're going to keep learning together, one document, $1, and one decision at a time. If this helped you understand credit differently, like this video, share it with somebody who needs it, and subscribe because we're building financial and paper identity knowledge one episode at a time. And don't just learn the message, wear what speaks truth. Visit ivoryamerican.com. Until next time, Shalom.